one of the longest running battles in the legal history of India, has come to an end on 9th of November 2019. After this, the foundation stone of Ram Lalla's temple was laid there, and now on January 22nd, the incomparable statue of Ram Lalla is going to be consecrated in the grand temple built in Ayodhya. Let us know from where and how the Ram Janmabhoomi dispute started, and why Sanatan Dharm people had to wait so long to get the right to worship Ram Lalla. Everyone knows that on January 22nd, 1526, Mir Baqi, the Shia Muslim commander of Muslim invader Babur, demolished the grand Ram temple of Ayodhya and built the Babri Masjid. From the period of British slavery to the civil court of Faizabad in independent India, to the Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court, and then to the Supreme Court, we are presenting here the account of legal battle that went on for years. During colonial period, the first recorded legal history of Ayodhya dispute is from 1858. On November 30th, 1858, a man named Muhammad Salim filed an FIR against a group of Nihang Sikh who had set up their mark inside the Babri Masjid and also performed Havan and Puja in front of an idol with Ram written on it. This became the first documentary evidence that Hindus were present not only in the outer courtyard but also inside the inner courtyard. The legal battle begins in 1885 when Mahant Raghubir Das filed a suit in the civil court of Faizabad against the Secretary of State for India in Council. A civil appeal was filed against the decision of 27th November 1885. Faizabad District Judge F.E.R. Tremor decided to visit the spot before passing the order. He later rejected the appeal. In 1934, there were riots in Ayodhya and Hindu demolished a part of structure at the disputed site. This part was rebuilt by the British. The very next questions come here is what happened after the independence. Well, the idols were found inside the central dome of the mosque on the intervening night of 22nd and 23rd December 1949. Then, Faizabad DM K.K. Nair informed UP Chief Minister Govind Ballabh Pant on the morning of December 23rd about a group of Hindus entering the site and placing the idol when the site was deserted. An FIR was registered in the matter and the gate was locked at the same day. A week later, on January 5th, 1950, Priya Dutt Ram took over as receiver. On January 16, 1950, Gopal Singh Visharad of Hindu Mahasabha became the first person to file a case in independent India. Gopal Visharad filed a suit against 5 Muslims, the state government and the district magistrate of Faizabad, praying for the right to pray and worship in the inner courtyard. But on the same day, the civil judge passed an injunction order and allowed the puja. On May 25th, the second suit was filed by Paramhansa Ramchandra Das against Zahoor Ahmed and others and was similar to the first suit. 2 years later, on December 18, 1961, the Sunni Central Waqf Board, along with all the defendants named in the earlier suits, filed a fourth suit in the court of civil judge in Faizabad demanding the removal of the idols and handing over the possession of the mosque. The new chapter of Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi struggle started in January 1986. On 25th of January 1986, lawyer Umesh Chandra Pandey filed an application before the Munsif magistrate in Faizabad asking that the locks of Ram Lalla temple be opened and the devotees be allowed to worship the idols of Ram Lalla. The Munsif magistrate rejected the application, saying that the matter related to the matter is pending in the higher court and hence no order can be passed at the present. Umesh Pandey filed an appeal against the order of Munsif magistrate in Faizabad District Court on January 31, 1986. A day later, on 1st February 1986, both the DM and SP of Faizabad gave an affidavit in the court that there were no possibility of peace being disturbed due to the opening of locks of temple and worship of Ram Lalla, and there will be no problem in maintaining the law and order in the city. On July 12, 1989, the Allahabad High Court passed an order transferring all the trials to a three-judge bench of the High Court. This acquisition was challenged by the Muslim through 6 writ petitions. On December 11, the High Court had cancelled the acquisition. After the demolition of disputed structure on 21st of December 1992, Hari Shankar Jain filed a petition in the Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court that worshipping Lord Ram was this fundamental right. On January 1st, 1993, the High Court said that every Hindu has a right to worship at the place considered to be the birthplace of Lord Ram. The central government moved the Supreme Court to determine whether there was any temple there before the construction of Babri Masjid. On behalf of the Muslim side, Muhammad Ismail Farooqi filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court challenging this action of the Indian government. In March 2002, the trial over the Ayodhya title dispute began, 13 years after the Allahabad High Court took over the case. In July 2003, the Allahabad High Court ordered excavation at the disputed site, where in the division of disputed site, a landmark verdict on September 30th, 2010. A three-judge bench of Allahabad High Court, comprising Justice Dharamveer Sharma, Justice Sudhir Agrawal, and Justice S.U. Khan, gave its verdict in the ownership case. It divided the disputed land into 3 parts and gave one part each to Ram Lalla, Nirmohi Akhara, and Sunni Waqf Board. All the parties, Ram Lalla Virajman, Sunni Waqf Board, and Nirmohi Akhara filed a petition in the Supreme Court against the decision of the Allahabad High Court. A century-long pending issue towards settlement, on January 8, 2019, the Supreme Court constituted a 5-judge bench to hear the ownership suit in Ayodhya. 2 days later, Justice U.U. Lalit recused himself from the 5-judge bench. The bench proposed court-monitored mediation, with the mediation panel comprising former SC Judge Justice F.M. Kalifullah, Shri Ravi Shankar, and senior lawyer Shri Ram Panchu. The Supreme Court heard the case regularly for 40 days, and in the last 11 days, the parties were given an additional hour of time to complete their arguments. On November 9, 2019, a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court anonymously ruled that all the disputes have been resolved. Therefore, Sri Ram Lalla Janmabhoomi temple to be built in Ayodhya. This is Meera Verma for Legally Speaking.